This podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Anything discussed during this podcast does not and is not intended to constitute legal advice. Instead, all content is for general entertainment purposes only. Listeners should contact their attorney to obtain advice with respect to any particular legal matter. Listening to, contacting us, or any of the links or resources contained within this podcast and or website does not create an attorney-client relationship. The views expressed during this podcast are those of the individual lawyers in their individual personal capacities only.
All the legal ladies, all the legal ladies, all the legal ladies, all the legal ladies.
Welcome to All the Legal Ladies. Unwind with us as we navigate the fascinating world of legal tales, precedents, and the occasional objection-worthy jokes. So, I believe it was your husband's birthday this weekend?
Was. We did a big DC trip, stayed for the whole weekend. Big shout out to Grandpa and Uncle Lawrence for taking those kids out for ice cream twice.
Oh.
They're very happy.
They want you to leave forever now.
They I think what they want is for us to be home, but Grandpa to be in charge. Because he's more fun, but also they don't like it when we leave. Mm-hmm. So if we could just go out for ice cream every day, but be home, that would be ideal.
They want the best of both worlds.
Yes.
Who can blame them?
Did you do anything fun in DC?
We did. We saw a show.
Oh, and?
It was a Star Wars parody show. And it was the most amazing thing I've ever seen. What did you say that thing was called? A tauntaun? A tauntaun. There was a tauntaun kind of suggestively dancing with a human. It was so weird. Jabba the Hutt was rapping to Biggie. His mouth was moving. Mm-hmm. But my favorite part that I have not told you about yet, to me, the best part of the whole show, I laughed for probably 5 minutes straight, just covering my mouth, dying, laughing. Because they did have, is it Emperor Palpatine? Mm-hmm. Is that the shriveled old guy in the robe? So that person went out there to dance, and then they yanked their robe off, and it was a full body suit to make what Emperor Palpatine's body would look like.
Oh, old man rolls and everything.
Everything. And so that shaking around on stage, that was enough. That was very funny. And then they went right into the next number. They brought out a wrecking ball shaped like the Death Star.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely. Wrote it and sent a wrecking ball.
Oh my goodness.
Worth every penny.
Oh my goodness.
It was a burlesque show. I can't tell you, was it titillating? Not for me, but I laughed so hard. So hard. The production quality. A full stage size Jabba the Hutt. They had special wires, because that wrecking ball, it swung back and forth. If you're in the DC area, give them your money. It's worth it.
Wow, Marsha, did you do anything quite that exciting this weekend?
You didn't see the Emperor ride a wrecking ball?
No. I didn't see wrinkly old man skin.
The attention to detail.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
I was that's an expensive ticket, but they spent all of that on quality set design and costuming.
All right.
I got to enjoy Hugh Jackman's Wolverine body.
Okay.
I did see Deadpool.
Slightly different body.
Different body. Still oldish man. I guess he's in his 50s now, right? But you got to give him credit for the dedication to make that body work for the 2 days that he's got to film. And then so I enjoyed it. It was good.
I've seen the movie. I enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. The opening scene was
a little gratuitous.
Yes. Is this how the rest of the movie is going to be? But
gratuitous, violence?
Yeah. Bloody, more bloody than...
no, thank you.
I don't like Kill Bill Volume 1 because it's too bloody, but Kill Bill Volume 2 is great. I feel there's more story than just gratuitous violence. So I don't know where that came from. Sorry. But yeah, I enjoyed some of the cameos. Spoiler alert, don't, watch.
Spoiler alert.
Listen to us.
I guess I should have spoiler alert the wrecking ball. I did not see that coming. I should have given a spoiler to that. Maybe we'll add one at the beginning.
But two of my favorite cameos from Deadpool was Jennifer Garner, because you gotta love Jennifer Garner, and Wesley Snipes, because I love Blade. Love. It's one of my favorite
And
movies.
what was his name? The one playing Gambit? Oh, Channing
Channing
Tatum.
There we go.
Yes, who played Remy LeBeau, Gambit. Because he was originally supposed to play him. So I was like, oh, I didn't know that little tidbit that they wanted to come out with a Gambit movie. I was like, how would that have worked? But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the character, it's interesting, but I can't imagine a full like story about it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I did love the Calvarini or Calvarine. Shoot, Cavill. What's his name?
Oh, yes, yes.
Cavill?
Henry Cavill.
Yeah, Henry Cavill. He was a Wolverine from
Yes.
the timeline. And so, because he's Superman, so they had him jump into the Marvel universe as a surprise. And that was pretty good. On a side note, I'm sad he's not the Witcher anymore. But yep. Anyway.
But yeah, there was a lot of violence in that opening scene, which is swords. Was it sword? He just used everything. He used bones. Did he use any guns?
Don't think so.
And to think you were watching that when you could have been watching an oversized llama-looking thing shimmy.
And did they have any guns?
There was a suggestive dance with a lightsaber later on. Those weren't the parts that interested me as much. I was there for the deeply weird parts.
They are not picking up what I'm laying down. But go ahead.
I was gonna say the whole suggestive dancing with the lightsaber seems like one of those. Let's cleave yourself in two. Which yes,
If the lightsaber was real, you would have to be
changed
very.
color in the
You would
middle
be
of the dance.
You would have to be
seems
very
significant.
careful, making sure you don't
Yeah, it didn't
cut off any body parts.
It didn't go there. It was just a prop. But
which reminds me of the case in St. Mary's County, childhood trauma. Skipping a little bit, where someone decided to use a rotating saw.
Oh yeah.
I remember seeing that on the news before I moved down here, and then realizing like that was here.
Real. Yes, they decided that maybe I could get a little more pleasure if I attached my my personal toy to a machine that would, oscillate, except for I didn't remove the saw portion of it. So, yeah. But that only self-harms.
Yeah.
Whereas when you play with guns,
Well, was that how we were trying to say
that's how she was trying to segue before.
Missed that. Right. Sailed right past me.
But that's all right. Good shit. Good.
Thank you. So today's topic is gun control in Maryland, because we just had a appeals court uphold Maryland's decades-long ban on military firearms, or assault weapons. Nothing to talk about there.
I don't know. I don't know what to say. What I just have is a lot of sadness.
Yeah.
A lot of dead kids.
A lot of dead kids.
Yeah. And I was doing some reading before today's episode, and it was talking about how, the data on whether or not, when the Brady Bill was in effect, when assault weapons were banned for those 10 years, whether or not it actually lessened gun violence. But there's something to be said that it lessened the amount of people killed in mass shootings during that time. But also there was that fear for a while that, the CDC thought that they weren't allowed to study the effects of gun violence because of it was the Dickey Amendment, which I didn't know the name of it before. So I don't know. It's would another ban decrease violence? I think we should at least study that. I think we should find out.
I think we should just do it, because Southern Maryland, specifically St. Mary's County, there's a lot of hunters. There's a lot of hunting that goes on around here. And, shotguns, 29 rifles, there's lots of ways that hunters use guns to get meat or take care of certain populations, but they don't use AK-47s or AR-15s or 20, magazine, because that's not what you do, because otherwise you'll just destroy the meat. And that's not true hunting, right?
It's like one of the early seasons of South Park. I don't remember which one of the characters had like two redneck uncles who took the boys out hunting, and they had like a rocket launcher or something. And they're like, well, you're only allowed to use it if your life is in danger. And so there'd be like a little fawn that would come across and you'd be like, it's coming right for us. Sort of what this feels like.
And I'll be the first to say that I have, when I grew up in high school, one of my best friends, her father was an avid gun collector and shooter. Mm-hmm. And so I learned how to load a gun. I learned how to unload a gun. I went to shooting ranges. I've been to shooting ranges down here in St. Mary's County. And I do enjoy it for the sport of it. I'm a vegetarian, so I wouldn't kill animals to eat them.
Mm-hmm. But I think there's something to be said for someone who hunts and consumes like what they hunt. Like, I respect that. I don't think you need AK to do it, but
right. I mean, I don't see a problem with regulating certain guns. The argument is, they're trying to take away my Second Amendment right. No, just like there are regulations concerning freedom of free speech. You can't say certain things.
You can't yell fire.
Exactly. There should be regulations regarding guns. You can have your gun. Own your gun legally, but there should be certain regulations regarding certain guns. Who needs a sniper rifle besides snipers? Exactly. If you want to be a collector of guns, that's fine too. I mean, my uncle hunts, so he has guns. I don't have a problem with having guns as long as it's done properly. And banning assault weapons, aka sniper rifles, the normal person, the average person really they don't need those type of weapons in their home.
Yeah. And if we're going to be originalists, let's talk about back in 1776 when, they started writing these things.
Only black powder rifles are permissible.
Yeah. We're talking muskets. If you want to fill your gun with the black powder and tamp it down and put the bullet in there and then try and shoot me, please keep your gun. I will get to you before that happens. However, they didn't have any imagining of machine guns and army-style weapons that would spit out bullets 50 a second. That's not what this was written for.
I've yet to hear compelling reasons why, like universal background checks and maybe some sort of licensure. I mean, you have to have a license to drive a car on the street. I don't understand. And I think your average gun owner supports people being responsible. Yes. It's just the political powers that be.
Yeah. But when you're capable of going to a gun show and purchasing some of these weapons without any background check, that is not right. I mean, like you said, I haven't heard a good argument in opposition to not having some type of regulation. Banning all the guns, all these assault AR-15s, AK-47s. I don't know.
And limits to gun magazines.
Right. Limits. What's wrong with limits? What is wrong? Do you really need 100?
If the zombie horde is attacking, feel free to go to the local military base and take what you need.
Yeah, basically.
Otherwise.
You have the right to defend yourself, but you don't need... It's just when we have so many mass shootings, when we have so many school shootings, when we have people dying because of the weapons people use, there should be regulations. And
other countries don't have it like this. Which isn't to say that there aren't mass shootings in other countries, but it's not
to the level that we have it here.
It's not to the level we have here.
Yes.
Or the ridiculous people that say, well, they have stabbings instead. Well, I'd rather take my chance with a stabbing than a gun. Thank you.
It's a balance.
Body count's a lot lower.
Well, I can't remember. I meant to look it up and I didn't think about it till now. But the amount of women who die if there's a gun in the home and from domestic violence, like it's just insane. Well, let's talk about the family annihilators. You know, again, a gun in a home and you're likely to have women and children dead.
Children who get access to unsecured firearms inside a home. I don't know. It's
Regulations and punishment for
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, because it's like those are the conversations I've had with friends and family members who either have firearms or are thinking about owning them. It's like, well, how do you secure them? How do you access them quickly if you truly have a situation where you feel like you need it? You know, they'd have those like, was it fingerprint or handprint safes? Something like that. And it's like, well, those are really expensive. And it's like, well, how much is your kid's life worth?
Right.
Like if you think you need it in an emergency and you have to be able to get to it that fast, versus just leaving it out for your kid to be able to get to it.
And there's a certain age that you could maybe start doing that. Because again, you know, I knew that even at a friend's house, I would get beaten to an inch of my life if I attempted to touch a gun. But I was a teenager at that point in time.
Yeah.
Like there was, but also I wasn't someone who was trying to end somebody else's life when we have so many of that, especially in St. Mary's County, where a kid decided to end somebody else's life and his and took a gun he had access to.
Yeah.
So it's not worth leaving it out for people to be able to touch no matter what age.
There's like I said, there's a way to go about it where you can have your freedom and still
Be a responsible gun owner.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because my kids will learn how to deal with a gun because nowadays, unfortunately, there's so many of them and there's people who are stupid about where they put them. And I want them to be able to safely unload and report it to an adult. And
You know, drive a stick shift. Unload a gun.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is what they're going to learn how to do. But in a time appropriate manner where they can be safe. So I guess this one we'll keep a little short. It's a little sad, a little hard. So let's move on to recess to try and get some good juju going.
Spin the wheel. Two lies and a lawsuit.
Just did that one. Or no, we did.
didn't.
Oh, we did cheaper to keep them. I'm like, you know me. I always wanted to be you be the judge. Okay. First story. A musician sued a cover band for performing his songs better than him.
That's funny.
Number 2, a boy sued his mom for taking his cell phone.
Charles would do that.
I was like, if that was a cause of action.
Right.
Number 3, a woman sued a laundromat for her socks always disappearing in their dryer.
I'm going with Karen.
I like the sued his mom for taking his cell phone.
No.
Don't get any ideas, Charles.
No. How would he bring a suit? He would have to have an adult.
I think what we've learned in the past is that
When there's a will.
nothing has stopped people.
I know. I'll go with number 1, the cover band.
Okay.
So we all do something different.
A boy sued his mom.
I knew it. I knew it.
Was this in the
Tell us
United
more
States?
about the story.
I have more to tell you.
Court's indulgence.
Yeah, I think Marsha got this picture recently. That, you know, a handwritten card from my daughter to her father. Daddy, can you please come help me? Mommy is being very mean and won't let me have cake. He was taking a nap because he wasn't feeling well. Hand delivered card requesting intercession.
How
Sent it to Marsha because She received many aggrieved notes from her child.
Yes.
Let's see. Oh, Spain. In 2017, a 15-year-old boy in Spain sued his mother, claiming he was mistreated after she took his cell phone to try and get him to study. He also sought jail time for his mom and reimbursement for his legal expenses.
Wow.
A judge ruled in favor of the mother, saying she was within her rights and acted responsibly to get her son to crack the books. How was that not dismissed?
I wish he would. You can try it. Go ahead.
I just feel like after that, he's never getting the cell phone.
No.
Never leaving his room. Ask for jail time.
Will he have a room?
All right. You can live in the backyard.
Basically.
That is something.
That is something. Well, I feel like we need a little more happy.
audacity.
So can we have a you be the judge too? Since that's Alicia's so much favorite one.
I tell you, these children be trying you.
Surely they do. Okay. Yay. All right. Who is most likely to get in a fight? Are we going to say like a physical fight?
Yes, a physical fight. Okay.
I'm such a pacifist.
You are.
I wouldn't start it, but I'd finish it.
I did jump into one time. I was only very briefly there, though.
Yeah. If someone hits you, hit them back.
Oh, they didn't hit me. They hit my friend. And, you know,
There's some defense of others.
yeah, it's funny because never before in my life have I experienced that period of time where I lost about 10 seconds of my life. Like, I remember seeing the person hit my friend. And the next thing I knew, somebody was pulling me off of a pile by the back of my shirt. Like, I have no memory of the jump, like no memory of entering that fray. But somebody did pluck me off and said, she has it. And I looked down and she absolutely had it. She did not need my assistance. That's my one and only bar fight.
There are only certain triggers. Like, I remember my god sister's sister hit her or did something. And the next thing I knew, I was on top of her. I flung her to my bed. She was standing, so I threw her to my bed, and I was on top of her, twisted her arm, and said, "Don't you ever do that again." So there are times.
It's that protective instinct.
Yes.
I will say that person in my circumstance was not smart because the friend who did get punched in the face, that was her mom's bar.
Oh.
So clearly they weren't regulars because they did hit her in her mom's bar and everyone came. And they let her take her time before they pulled her off.
Yep.
All right. Who is most likely to crash a wedding?
Nope.
No. I don't know. Marsha, if you walked by the door and the wobble was playing, would you just go in and like get in a wobble and then leave?
I might.
If the vibes felt right.
If the vibes felt right, I'll be like, oh. All right, at least stand on the perimeter and be like, okay. But crash a wedding?
Although we do see those weddings at the courthouse, and I was like,
that's true,
would I 100% just kind of like find myself standing up and be like, this is so beautiful?
But not like go to the reception or anything.
No.
Yeah.
No. Do you like wedding cake though?
Alicia's like, I would sneak in just to get the wedding cake.
I mean, if somebody said, hey, would you, I would take some. Yeah. All right. Who's most likely to, I don't think this one's fair, be a grandparent first? I mean, it better be Marsha.
It really better be Marsha.
Yeah. It should be me.
10-year difference. Well, 9-year difference between our children and your child. So there really should be.
Yeah.
Yes. But Charles has gone from wanting 10 children to wanting 0. So.
And that's without babysitting our kids.
So it's like, okay.
Could swing back, could not.
I know. But I told him he better give me a grandbaby. So I can take that grandbaby. He's like, will my wife have a say? He's like, I don't know. Maybe. I just want the baby.
But not now.
But not now. Oh, he knows. That's why he said wife. He knows it better not be now. But he also knows what will happen if it's now. And he doesn't want to deal
He's
with
definitely going to lose that cell phone.
that. He doesn't want to deal with that.
No more door on your room.
He likes his freedom too much. Mm-hmm. And if that happened now, he would parent that child after the paternity test.
It's like the number of times I've had that conversation with teenage clients really doesn't have to come up as a part of the case. I just consider it my personal PSA. Like, you know how babies are made. You understand how not to make them. Do you understand how expensive diapers are? Like, let's look at it together.
Yes.
Because you're going to be buying those.
Exactly. Yes. You will get a job. You will be paying. So, yeah. And you like to be on the go and hang out with your friends now.
You cannot do that with a child.
It's especially effective because it's like I had a newborn at the time when I was working there at Legal Aid. I was like, let me tell you about my life. This is how many times I got woken up last night. That's what your life will be. Wrap it up. Wrap it up.
And on that note, we will be wrapping this episode up.
Trial for trauma. Now that I've traumatized other
We gotta do some more trauma.
teenagers.
Trauma.
Trauma.
Oh, my goodness. Baked crapola.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. Had an attorney on the other side of a custody come in my office after hours harassing me about a case we were on the opposite side of. He wouldn't leave when I asked him to. So I said I was calling the police. He just stood there and glared at me. I picked up the phone, called 911, and looked up, and he was gone like the wind. Turns out he was banging his low-income female clients by running up huge legal bills and coercing them to pay via sex. He's disbarred now. I would hope so.
That's disgusting.
That is disgusting.
And sadly, not the first time I've heard things like that.
I was like, I've never heard that about any attorneys locally, but I remember there was a psychologist, I think.
There was a psychologist doing that
Yeah.
recently.
Who was doing work like associated with the courts and stuff.
And was having sex with the female clients. Yep.
Taking advantage of female clients. Yeah.
There was a public defender in Hagerstown before my time that was having sex with clients in the office.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Anyway, have no good notes to end on.
No. But that would cause a fight if someone came into my office.
And
After hours.
That's like, nobody's walking into our office.
No.
Fort Knox over here.
It's like, oh.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you for tuning in to this episode of All the Legal Ladies. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and listen to the audio on your favorite digital streaming platform. Always get consent and wrap it up if you're a teenager. We'll
Really at any age.
week.
Yes. Disease has no age limit.
That's true.
Infectious diseases.
We're so moms. Bye.